Extra time. There was none of it last night. Are you a fan of that? Are you a fan of going straight to pens?
Yeah, I think so. Just seems to be a bit better. And if the way teams treat the League Cup certain ways, then why should we play an extra 30 minutes or so?
Yeah,
I think it's better for everybody involved. Fans seem to get more enjoyment out of it.
Had it been extra time, would you have fancied it more or less?
I think we'd have still won.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do,
okay.
yeah.
Because you were 2-0 up and then 2-1 at half time, and then they came back to 2-2. So that suggests, I didn't see the game, but that suggests they were getting back into the game.
No, mate, it was 1-0, 1-1,
okay,
2-1.
Sorry, 2-1
2-2.
just before half time.
Yeah.
And then they came back to 2-2.
Yeah, on the 47th minute.
Does that not suggest they were getting back into it? Had another 30 minutes on the... I'm asking, I didn't see the game.
No, not at all. Just look at the stats, I think so, yeah. I feel like we had the ball for 60%, I feel like, and we battered them.
Let me ask you, we asked a question on yesterday's show, actually, about the League Cup, about whether or not we're the only country out of the 5 big heads, Germany and Spain, Italy and so on, that have 2 domestic cup competitions. Which may suggest it's on its last legs, the League Cup. I'm a big fan of the League Cup, domestic football, FA Cup as well. Yeah. As a footballer, with the amount of football that you've got, and even more so if you're in the Premier League and you've got European football and you play for the national side and so on, do you think it's a good thing to have the League Cup?
I think so, yeah.
If a lot of clubs are putting out maybe second-string sides or not?
It's not all about the top end, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's the way the League Cup system goes. Everybody's involved in it, so there's a money tie somewhere for a lower league team about, so I think it's great for English footballers where we're at. Let's not change what we've already got.
It's interesting because there's so many games that for so many different reasons are big, and the reason I'm saying that, I'm looking for Spurs, their game at Molineux, they're away at Wolves tonight, and I just wonder what type of team, we'll get the team using the show, what type of team that Nuno will put out, because he's under the cosh now after the results Tottenham have had in their last 2 games and the way they've been playing, and Harry Kane as well. What do you do in that situation? Do you start with Harry Kane? Do you put out full strength side? Knowing that, of course, it's no disrespect, only the League Cup, but of course the Premier League is...
I think he'll go very strong. I think if you're Harry Kane, you've not got to prove anything to anybody, of course, but as a goal scorer, he's going to want to start. He'll want to start scoring, and why not do it tonight at Wolves? And that would be the way I would be thinking anyway. As a forward, I'm thinking, right, I need to get on the goal train now. I need to score, and why not start? Perfect opportunity away to Wolves in the League Cup.
Have you been in that situation before where you thought you were going to have a big move, and then for whatever reason it didn't happen, you stayed at the club, and then you've had to take to the field? Yeah,
but I've done before. When QPR got relegated, I thought I was going to move. I was linked to go to Newcastle, wasn't I, for a while, and that obviously didn't go through. And then I stayed at QPR in the Championship. But I got around. I scored quite quickly.
Can you understand what he's going through? Can you see it? Have you been there?
To a small degree, yeah, because his was documented everywhere. It's Harry Kane, England captain, he's going to Man City. It will be tough, but ultimately Tottenham fans don't care. They want to see him perform, and at the moment, unfortunately, he's not.
Yeah, and you're quite similar because you're both out-and-out strikers. He's been playing very, very deep.
Correct.
And when he plays very deep for England, usually he's got runners alongside. When he does it for Spurs as well, you've got Moore, you've got Son as well.
Yeah.
So when he sits deep, if those players are there, I sort of see why it works. But then when they're not there and he still comes deep to collect the ball, or he plays out wide as he did at the weekend, it must be quite frustrating.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's frustration for him. He wants the ball. He wants to see more of the ball, I guess, and he's not getting it quick enough from the lads behind him. So he's dropping deep. I understand the dropping deep bit, but when he goes wide, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of strikers playing wide, if I'm honest. Their bread and butter's down the middle, width for the 18-yard box for me, and that's where Harry Kane plays his best football.
What do you do if the manager asks you to play a role like that and you're not happy? You just have to do it?
You have to do it. When Claude Puel come in at Saints, we played with Dusan Tadic, played down the middle as a 10, and I played like a left forward.
Right. What, just off him or alongside?
No.
Like just behind, like a number 10, but over on the left? Or?
Yeah, and Nathan Redmond was also on the right, and I found that quite tough. That was a bit...
And you don't say anything? You just get on with it?
In the game, we kind of moved. Me and Dusan moved, where I moved into the centre and he went back out to the left. And then I scored in the Europa League, and then got on like the goal trail, and then kind of said to the manager, look, my best position's down the middle. And then he kind of stuck me down the middle then. But that's where I'll go to it, where Harry would like to play tonight, I guess, to score. Not that he has to prove to anyone, because there's so many games, the opportunity is there for him to score.
Bearing in mind, I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but bearing in mind how close he was to that move and how he's playing at the moment, do you think he'll be there when the next window closes?
Yeah.
You do? You don't think Spurs will sell him in January?
No.
Do you think they should?
No.
Okay. We'll take some calls, shall we? Busy night of Carabao Cup football. Charlie Austin alongside 08717 223344. Michael's a Liverpool fan. Hello, Michael. How are you?
I'm not so bad myself.
I'm good. I'm very well. Thanks for listening and phoning up. What would you like to say?
Yeah, I actually want to talk about something else, but your colleagues asked me to talk about sort of blooding youngsters through for the Carabao Cup. So I think definitely...
Hold on. What did you want to talk about first, Michael?
I think for the Carabao Cup, you should almost force the hand of the big clubs. So they basically pick and choose who they want to put into the teams. But I think like you do for the Champions League, where you have to select 20-odd players at the beginning of the tournament, I think we should select 18 players that can only play in the Carabao Cup. So basically you're saying to the clubs, if you want to play a weakened team in rounds 3, 4 and 5, you're going to lose potentially at the end because somebody might pick a stronger squad and they'll probably annihilate your youth team if you play them in the quarterfinals. So maybe a Tottenham play a really strong team all the way through, Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea play weaker teams, and then you're going to get a real cross of quality.
Yeah, but the problem is, Michael, sadly the football world we live in is all about money, and if you say to the broadcasters they're going to have a weakened side and there's a chance they might not get to the final, and if they do you won't have the superstars in that side, that competition is going to die. Yeah,
but if that club seriously wants to win a trophy, you'll actually see if they really want to win that trophy. Or
but they do. But if you take Man City for example, they've got the Premier League, they've got the Champions League, then they've got the FA Cup, and then they've got the League Cup. If they get to the latter stages of any of those domestic ones, the FA or League Cup, they're going to put strong sides out, aren't they?
Man City got 20 world-class players that cost about, £500-600 million. I've got no sympathy for clubs like that. It's the clubs like your Lutons or, I don't know, Brentford, probably lower team in the Premier League who actually want to play the big boys and have a real good go at it and end up playing against 7 or 8 players who they've never heard of. It's great for the youth players at the big clubs. It's great for their development, but there has to be a line that's got to be drawn. So I think maybe producing a squad where you can have a mixture of probably 5 or 6 first teamers, 5 or 6 second string, and then probably 5 or 6 of your youth players. It's a good balance. At least you know where you are moving through the stages.
Okay, Michael, thanks for your call. Charlie, what do you make of that? Do you think it's a problem that if a side will use Man City, because of course they've been so successful over the last 4 years in the competition, do you think it's fair, do you think it's okay that they can field a mixture of...
I think if every football club could do what Man City have done, they would do it, mate. It's just not possible. The way Man City treat the Carabao Cup is faultless. They've won it last 4?
4, yeah.
4 on the spin, going for the 5th, so you can't fault what they're doing. The early rounds, they've got quality in their side. You see that last night, what they've done to Wickham. The back 4 and then the front 6 were obviously...
Very strange, that team, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? But still, for me, looking on at the League Cup, fans looking on at their own club will want them to go and win silverware, of course, but then we'll understand when they don't fulfil their full squad, I guess.
Can you understand if the manager dropped you for a League Cup? If he dropped you for the next League Cup game because you had an important league game at the weekend, you wouldn't have a problem with that?
No.
I mean, you'd have a problem with it, but there's nothing you can do.
Of course, there's not a lot you can do. Do you know what I mean? I didn't play in the early rounds, not for any reason. I didn't play in the early rounds. Just it was the way it is. Sometimes the fixtures don't go for you. They don't. Sometimes the managers don't feel they need to. And all due respect to everyone, they don't need to fulfil a full thingy. So